I'll be talking about the ancient art of rejuvenation called Kaya Kalpa. It existed in India for over 5,000 years. And I'll try and make it simple for you. I'm not going to say what they said 5,000 years ago. I'll try and give you some insight into it. But first of all, I want to make one thing clear, that I'm going to base my assumptions on logic and not science. Why shouldn't logic be used to prove things? Aristotle, Socrates, they all used logic. Today, sometimes we get obsessed with science. We need everything to be proved. And so we have a little problem there. Now, what are the basic principles? In the ancient art of Kaya Kalpa, the art of rejuvenation, they spoke about a few things. Circulation is very important. And it will probably cover some of the things that we have discussed earlier, that it's obvious, the more nutrients, more oxygen you get into the cells, the more rejuvenated the cells would be. The next thing is adaptation. One of the most important parameters of life is adaptation. We need to adapt all the time, or else we stay behind and we don't progress. We don't adapt to the environment, we don't adapt to any of these things. They spoke about also digestion, which is very important, and they spoke about breathing, which is connected to both circulation and oxygen supply, and of course mental exercises such as meditation and other forms of praying, music, whatever. So these were very important things. Now let me talk about the first part, the circulation. I mean, you can put a person on a life support machine for 25, 30 years, but as soon as the heart stops, the death certificate is signed. So the beating of the heart is the most important part of the most important parameter. If your big toe is gangrenous, it doesn't get blood supply, the physicians will, or the surgeons will not hesitate. They'll chop that part out. So circulation is a very important thing. Now we get confused. You get cold hands, cold feet, chilblains, Raynaud's syndrome, and the hands get white, absolutely white, and we think that the circulation is poor, so help the heart and the circulation will improve. That is not so. The circulation to the extremities, to the very tips of your fingers and toes, does not depend on the heart rate. It depends on several factors. It could be an autoimmune disease. It could be some accumulation of certain types of chemicals in those areas. So it is not increasing the heart rate or giving you medicines such as ginkgo biloba and caffeine and all these things will not improve that. It will not improve. You try treating Raynaud's syndrome with that, which is an autoimmune disease. So circulation depends on a variety of factors. Obviously, I'll just give you a simple example of, say, yogic breathing exercises. I mean, if somebody has a clogged nose, I could, blocked nose, I could demonstrate that. The thing is that yoga has a very powerful exercise. Let's say the Anulom Viloma, which is you breathe through one of the nostrils, breathe in very slowly, maybe taking about 3 to 4 seconds to breathe in, and then you hold your breath for 6 seconds or so, and breathe out through the other 6 seconds or so. So 1:2:2. Now while you do this, you build up the level of carbon dioxide in blood. So you get into a state of hypercapnia. Now when hypercapnia happens, what happens is, as we know, the erythrocyte, the hemoglobin exchanges oxygen molecule per molecule. One molecule of carbon dioxide goes in, another molecule of oxygen goes in. So if you accumulate the amount of carbon dioxide, which is what yoga preaches. Yoga preaches that if you slow down your breathing, you ultimately get more oxygen in your system. So because the exchange is more economical, it's more perfect. So doing this breathing, you accumulate the carbon dioxide. What happens to the body? Certain sensors in the hypothalamus will begin to interpret that as a threat to the body, that the tissues are not getting oxygen. The tissues are starved of oxygen. What do? They dilate the blood vessels. So for Raynaud's syndrome, dozens of times I've been able to cure this. just using this simple breathing technique and using some of the other things. So to improve the blood circulation, you got to hold your breath, not panic breathe. If you panic breathe, you're going to expel all the carbon dioxide out, and in exchange, you'll be getting actually less oxygen. That's why the old-fashioned treatment for panic attack is to blow into a paper packet, because you're breathing in carbon dioxide. The more carbon dioxide you breathe in, the more carbon dioxide you accumulate. As a result, less oxygen in air, and you begin to dilate. So circulation, for circulation, breathing is very important. So yoga is one of the perfect systems of improving the circulation, because you go into, not only do you not have to go to the gym, open your windows and start doing the exercises at home, but most powerful thing about yoga is teaches you to breathe. Breathe slowly. As you contort into various positions, you breathe in a particular way, slowing down your breathing, gradually breathing, and so you're able to supply oxygen to various muscles. Yoga has derived over the years, 3,000 to 5,000 years, it's derived exercises that can divert blood to every part of the body. To every part of the body. So if you practice the breathing and you're channelizing your oxygen supply to the brain, to the tissues, to the muscles, to the lungs, to the internal organs, you're able to rejuvenate, reactivate the system. Now, the other thing about circulation is we talk about massages. Now we know massages help the body and all that, but there are methods which I have worked with my master, and then we can do internal organ massage. I'll just demonstrate the type of exercises which we can use. First of all, the first group, there are several exercises. The first group of exercises that we do is to place the fingers under the rib cage. You bend forward. If you try and do it, you know how strenuous it will be. And if you look at the abdomen, it's a pack of 6. The abdominal rectus muscles is divided into packs. So the first group is just underneath that. What you need to do is to do something which mimics a hiccup. It's different from the yogic breathing. It's different from that. So you do this. So not only do you massage your liver, your gallbladder, but the tip of the heart. Now, as my master said, if you touch the head of a child, the child will move away. It doesn't like to be touched on the head. Touch on the bottom, it giggles. So the tip of the heart, when you massage it with the diaphragm, placed in that way, the heart will pump more blood. Momentarily, for a while, but this is an art. It's not a science, but this is art that has developed over thousands of years. So you help the heart to pump more blood into the system. The next part is the pancreas and the stomach, the second band of muscles. So when you contract that, you affect you pound this stomach in that way. The second part. Now what I have noticed is that people who eat fast, people who have got a sort of voracious appetite, their stomachs are overstretched. So they cannot remain hungry. Every meal they must fill it up. Otherwise they don't get the feeling of satiety. But doing these exercises over a period of 2-3 months, maybe doing it 2-3 times a day before you have your meal, the stomach begins to retract. And the amount of food, the intake of food reduces. And this is part of my weight loss plan. I do not give some extraordinary diets. I just make them use these muscles to pound the stomach. And it might sound silly that how can a stretch organ, but you try it. Try it. And you pound the stomach, you contract the stomach with these muscles. Not only has there been improvement in diabetes in some, but the appetite goes down. This is part of my weight loss plan, which I use all the time. The third part is you take the band 3, 4, and 5, you focus on the umbilicus here, and you contract it right in as if to touch the front of your spine. Now this will stimulate the solar plexus. You have to do it 50 times a day, 3 times 50 times, 3 times a day.